we've been having some technical difficulties, but they seem like they might have worked themselves out. Hopefully. Let me see some shit real quick. Finally, it's working right. I don't know what's going on with um shit. I don't know what's going on with my computer. And then like for some odd reason, y'all, when I go live, it keep putting my privacy on my videos. It's just me, which is weird. But if you're over there on YouTube, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. You on Facebook, make sure y'all follow the page. Today we're talking about suicide and is suicide selfish. We back at it. Like I said, I'm sorry if you watched earlier. I had technical difficulties. We seem like they got them. Seem like they worked out. Um, so yeah, we rocking and rolling. What I was saying before I had to, cut the video off. I was just talking about how when it comes to mental health professionals and being a black man who's seeking a person that looks like you, another black man, um, to help you with your mental health and the obstacles that you had to go through. I just showed you that 80% of mental health professionals are white and 76% or 74% of mental health professionals are women. Why is that a problem? Well, if you are a black man in America looking for a mental health professional, you're going to have to deal with the women and you're going to have to deal with them potentially being white. That's an issue because, like I said, if you're a black man looking for someone that looks like you and understands the little nuances and the microaggressions that we have being black and understanding the mental health and understanding, that you have to deal with other black people trying to make being black a monolith and telling all black people they got to be this way when you want to think another way, it would be very, very difficult for you to find a suitable mental health professional. And people always say, well, this person committed this and did this, and then do what they needed to do to make sure that they got the type of help. And I say it's a lot of obstacles to go and find that type of help. And people say those are excuses. Those are excuses. If suicide is upon you, and you've never dealt with it, how can you tell someone that those are excuses if you've never dealt with those type of issues and those type of mental games that are being played in your head and played by society and played by women and played by your self-esteem and stuff like that on being depressed? You have to understand it is a lot of stuff that goes on that weighs on men. And you got to understand if the mental health field is dominated by women, it is very unfair. It is so unfair to have a woman as your mental health provider, thinking that a woman it will be able to help you with your mental health when she has a vagina. I know that sounds brash. I know that sounds harsh, but it is hard to have a woman as a mental health provider if you are a black man in America. Why I say that? The reason being is because her view of life is going to be different because she has a vagina. I repeat, your mental health professional, if she's a woman, is going to have a different view of life if she has a vagina to help and guide you through your life and through your trials and tribulations and through your mental health and the issues that you're dealing with. Why do I say that? We have a lot of women out here saying, I can raise a boy to be a man. We have a lot of women saying, I can raise a boy to being a man, but we see a lot of these boys and how they act. And if you grew up in the household around nothing but women and see how women handle situations when they are stressed, and you think you as a man can handle those same situations like a woman, you're in for a rude awakening because Men cannot handle situations like women handle those same situations. We have to understand that men have to have some type of decorum and some type of class in a lot of situations where women can spaz out and be saved because they have a vagina. A lot of people might say that is unfair to think like that. It's unfair to think that I can't be a great mental health provider because I'm a woman. And no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that perspectives may be different because a woman would typically be your mental health provider and you are a man. And like I said, a lot of men might just be sitting under a woman because she's pretty, talks nice, dressed well, shaped a certain type of way, reminds them of their mother. So they may not be getting the help that they need. Women cannot raise men, boys to be men. And that's why a lot of men are having issues now when it comes to their mental health. Suicide is on the rise because America is making men less docile. And that's the issue with men now, is because a lot of men are unaliving themselves now because they don't feel like men. A lot of men have it. It's crazy because I seen a guy and he was talking about he had a class at the FBI in the 90s. And one of the questions was, how many of you have been in a fist fight? 1995, he said. He said, everybody in the class raised their hand, even the women. He said, I did that same class. They wanted me to teach that same class in 2004. He said, two people out of 30 said they had been into a physical fight. So, what that means is a lot of people grew up fighting, a lot of people grew up being able to express their aggression, to go through it. Hey, we don't handle those situations with putting our hands on. That's why a lot of people are so fickle and have a hard time listening to people say things, because what you don't understand as a man, and a lot of men don't understand this. Andrew Tate said this, and this is some real shit. If it's me and you, man to man, and we say, what's two plus two? I say two plus two is four. You say two plus two is five. Whoever can whoop the other one ass, that's what two plus two gonna equal. But a lot of people don't want to talk about that. Like, if you know about history, the victor always gets to write history. We're having a lot of issues now where a lot of men haven't punched a punching bag, don't take fighting classes, don't go to the gym, lift weights, fat, out of shape. We have a thing now where we have the involuntary incels. And the crazy part is not just the men that are incels, you have the fem cells now. So you have a lot of men that don't even know what it is to be a man. So you got to wonder to yourself, why is suicide so prevalent right now? Because men are not men. And the government knows this. Why do you think the court system, even when fathers are fighting for their children, this is not about the fathers that don't. This is about the fathers that fight for their children. 80% of the time award the kid still to the mother, because who's going to fill the jail cells? Who's going to fill the prisons? Because we know stats show 75% of the men who are in long-term correctional facilities are there because they grew up in a fatherless home. 85% of men in long-term correctional facilities who commit sexual assault grew up in a fatherless home. So when you think about that, yes, it is important for men to have men in their lives, have their tribe, have men teach them how to act in certain situations, teach them logic and ways to maneuver in certain rooms and situations. Like, it's sad that you have memes that come on Facebook or Twitter or shit like that that tells you, hey, as a man, you always take your shirt off at the pool. As a man, when you jump in and when you enter the pool, you jump in the pool. Like, those are things that you should just know as a man, but you don't. But if a lot of men are raised, especially in the black community, by women, they don't know this. That's why it is dangerous for men to be raised by women. That's why it's also dangerous for men to have female mental health professionals. Because, like I said, a woman having a pussy bails her out of a lot of situations that will not bail a man out because he does not have a pussy. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to share my screen and maybe we can watch this if it's working out. My computer don't want to fuck up. Excuse me. Let's see what we got. But this right here is a video of a woman who is supposedly supposed to be a healthcare provider. And this is why I say women sometimes aren't the best for men, because I'm a firm believer women cannot help men through the turmoil that they're dealing with if they're thinking about suicide. Let's go.
A couple days ago, Psychology Today released this article about the rise of lonely single men.
Please, with all your spirit gusto, go click back on that video. I've been telling y'all motherfuckers that y'all are going to be single for the rest of your fucking life if you do not increase your emotional communication skills, emotional intelligence, or any of these things. The Psychology Today article that my good sis is referencing is nothing but proof that these podcast alpha male bullshit ass father issue having ass motherfuckers is forcing y'all.
Did y'all hear her? And this woman got fired, and she's upset that she got fired, and she is supposed to be a mental health provider and professional. Now, the thing is, what's scary when you look at what she's talking and the way she's talking, she has to know that this is going to reflect on her skills to provide help to men. Also, in her bio, she has the LGBTQ flag. A lot of women who are in that community, the reason they are LGBTQ is because they don't respect men. They don't tell y'all this. A lot of women who are in the LGBTQ community do not respect men. She had another video of her slapping her ass and say, y'all butt ass naked, saying y'all don't deserve this ass, telling men they don't deserve that ass. Like, what kind of shit is that to say to men? Let's keep playing this video.
To a lifetime of singleness. I keep seeing on this bullshit ass app that women have these poor attitudes and all this other bullshit when men truly just need to extend their emotional vocabulary so they can flourish and have meaningful, healthy relationships. But instead, y'all listening to these Kevin Samuel ass motherfuckers, and it's leaving you 50 and alone.
Question: what does Kevin Samuels have to do with emotional intelligence when his podcast was not even about mental health? He had a dating show, a dating podcast. And the thing about it is, he asked pretty much everyone on there, have you had therapy? Like I said, what does Kevin Samuels have to do with what your job is in helping men as mental health professionals? And once again, I'm going to say, I'm not saying all women are like this, but her attitude, her ego is showing very, very bad. Let's go.
Fix it.
A couple days ago, Psychology Today released this article about the rise of lonely single men.
Please, with all your spirit gusto, go click back on that video. I've been telling y'all motherfuckers that y'all are going to be single for the rest of your fucking life if you do not increase your emotional communication skills, emotional intelligence, or any of these things. The Psychology Today article that my good sis is referencing is nothing but proof that these podcast alpha male bullshit ass father issue having ass motherfuckers is forcing y'all to a lifetime of singleness.
And what's crazy after watching that is a lot of women think that loneliness and singleness is an issue for men. I'm gonna repeat that. A lot of women think loneliness and singleness is an issue for men. Even the men that you see homeless are by themselves. Why I say that? Because they have group homes, they have shelters, they have churches, they have a bunch of stuff for men to where they can congregate and be together. But men have no problem with being by themselves because men are not social creatures by nature. We're not. We're okay. I know if I die alone, okay, cool. But women are the people who gossip, care about what this person is doing, that person is doing, especially black people. And if you have not seen the video, How to Sell to a Negro, is always talking about how the woman is trying to play keep up with the Joneses. The woman is always talking about how to play keep up with the Joneses, not the men. You know why that is? Because a woman's ego is bigger than a man's ego, but we don't want to talk about that. So, no, when you understand suicide, suicide is not selfish because sometimes the answer to suicide is suicide. And a lot of people are going to be upset with me saying that, but sometimes it's certain things that when you deal with, you cannot help. Even if you have kids, even if you have a wife, even if you have your mother and your father still alive, your friends and family, people don't understand the turmoil and the mental anguish you're going through and the internal battles and the struggles that you're going through because like I said, I've struggled with thoughts of that before. I didn't even know why I had it because in my mind, I'm like, I have a good life. I don't understand. I didn't, from what I was thinking, from when I hear people who have committed suicide, this person was, molested. This person was beat on. This person grew up in the foster care system. This person jumped house to house. This person was a military brat that moved all the time, never had stable household, and never was able to form good friendships and was scared because they had a attachment issues because they never knew when they were going to be snatched up and moved in the next 6 months or 8 months or the next year. Like I had like a great childhood, so I didn't understand what was going on. I didn't even understand that sometimes when you hit 30 years old, 30 years plus as a man, and when your hormones are changing and your testosterone is going down, that could even cause you to think about suicide because you are having a chemical imbalance or you're adjusting to your testosterone going down a little bit. Never knew that. That is something new. I never even knew that even if you go to the doctor for your your testosterone going down or trying to get something to actually balance you out or keep you sane when it comes to your testosterone, that the medicine they put you on to make your testosterone go up can even increase the chances of suicide sometimes. So when you see like people like y'all remember Chris Benoit? So when you think about people like that, Chris Benoit killed himself and his family, but they said he was on steroids, heavy roid rage, it's chemical imbalance, and so that's why when you playing with your hormones, it could be very, very dangerous. We have to understand sometimes when it comes to suicide, suicide is not necessarily selfish. It's a means to an end. It's an answer to what I cannot answer. It's an unpopular opinion, but I understand it. And like I said, when you are letting women that don't understand the mind or the psyche of men tell men how to deal with issues, that's why we have a lot of problems on how not to deal with our issues. Like I tell you, a lot of these boys out here that are committing these crimes come from fatherless household because they are emotional. They're quick to want to kill somebody and shoot triggers and all this. If y'all have never looked at FBG Duck's mother, go look at how she talks. Go look at what she says. Go look at how she moves. And y'all would think, wow, I can't believe a mother is talking to her child like that. I can't believe a mother would say this about other people's children and want their children to have the same fate as my child getting killed in the middle of the street while shopping in a affluent neighborhood. You weren't even in the hood when you got killed. You were shopping when you got killed. We got to understand that men, I'm talking to men, this is not a right or wrong when it comes to mental health. This is not saying these people are bad, these people are bad. This is not saying women can't help men now. This is not saying that white men can't help men now. This is not saying white women can help black men out. The thing is, it is a time now for a lot of guys to find who they are, their tribe, to find, even if you're doing good. Because I'm gonna say this from my bouts of like depression. Depression is a thing that for me is I would be depressed. I didn't know I was depressed. And then I look back 2 months like, damn, that's probably when I really just sunk into depression. But I know I'm depressed now. I'm doing XYZ. And yeah, now I know I'm depressed. I feel lazy. I feel lethargic. I feel like I don't have the will to get up out of the bed. I feel so fucking tired. Why do I feel tired? I slept really, really good last night. I slept long, got my hours in, and I woke up and I feel drained. I still feel drained. What's going on? But they don't tell you all of this stuff. Nobody's sitting around talking, especially men. And I'm glad for the manosphere that we have now. But now it just seems like it's getting redundant and repetitive when it comes to the manosphere because it always seems to talk about getting vagina. And then it moves from vagina to getting money and being successful. And then we see all of these people who are successful still killing themselves because it doesn't address a broad issue of a lot of men do not feel like men. A lot of men don't know what it feels like to be a man with a man. A lot of men growing up have never been on a sports team, have never been in the locker room talks, have never gotten into a fist fight, have never been in men groups at churches or at school, or a lot of men just have not been in circles of other men to measure themselves against other men to know if they are men. One of the things when it comes to being a man is responsibility. A lot of men don't have or understand what responsibility is as a man. I had a conversation with a young lady on Facebook, and she said men are naturally providers and protectors. And I told her, I said, men are not naturally providers and protectors, especially if the main people who are homeless are men. I'm going to say that again. I had a conversation with a young lady on Facebook, and she said men are natural providers and protectors. And I said, how are men naturally providers and protectors when your biggest group of homeless people are men? You have to ask yourself this. You have to ask yourself, I'm going to say this again. I had a conversation with a young lady on Facebook, and I said, men are not natural protectors and providers. And she begged to differ. And I said, how is that possible when the biggest people who are homeless are men? The main group of people who are asking for handouts are men. The main group of men, people who are asking to be fed are men. How are men natural protectors and providers. We've been on football teams, basketball teams, swim teams, soccer teams, other team, tennis teams, and shit like that, and understand and been around enough men to know that men are not natural protectors and providers. Men are not. We've been around men and be like, I would never let my daughter date him. We've been around men and we've said, I would never let my daughter date him because of how he acts, because of how he moves, because of how he talks, because of how he walks, because he gets intimidated when all of us are in the fucking locker room, because he's the only one that takes a fucking shower with his fucking drawers on. Not on no gay shit, because he's intimidated. What I mean, why do I say that? Because it's a little dick nigga right here taking a fucking shower now, and he's just as confident as the nigga with the biggest dick in the room. Y'all don't hear, you don't under a lot of y'all don't even understand what the fuck I just said. I just said we've been around men in the locker room who we've said I would never let my daughter date because this motherfucker in the shower with his drawers on, but you have this little dick nigga in the corner taking a shower just as confident as the nigga with the big dick. And before y'all be on some funny, weird shit, we are men. And yes, if you play sports and sometimes you're going to take a shower around other men, you know whose dick is big and whose dick is little. Let's be real. Okay? And so we're talking about men just being men. A lot of us don't know what it's like to be men when we grow up with women as our patriarchy. Not our monarchy. We as men don't know what it's like to be a man when we grow up with women as our patriarchy. And what I mean by that is a lot of women are trying to step in the role of men unknowingly because there is no man in the picture. Like I said, a lot of women are trying to step in the role of men because there's no man in the picture. And so when you have no man in the picture and you have young boys growing up not understanding how to deal with mental health issues, what do you think that's going to be? Why do you think these young boys out here so quick to pull triggers and kill each other? Nigga, Birmingham is already in the month of September 40% higher in murder rate than last year. You can look this up. Birmingham is 40% higher in murder rate than it was in 2021. Obama said you are 10 times more likely to go to prison if you grew up in a house without your father. That's what Obama said. And if you know me, you know how I feel about Obama, but that's a true statement. If your dad ain't there, you gonna go to prison. If your dad ain't there, you probably gonna kill somebody. If your dad ain't there, you probably going to commit sexual assault. These are stats. Men teach men how to respect women, not women. Men teach men how to respect women, not women. Women don't teach women how to respect each other because if you've ever been around lesbian women or women who dabble in that type of lifestyle, they will tell you that women are far more aggressive, obnoxious, handsy, assault you, grab asses. And if you ever been to a strip club where a lot of women attend or frequent a lot, then you know exactly what I mean. Because you have men sitting down in the corner, shy to go tip strippers, and you have women up there slapping dollars on their asses, pulling their G-string aside, looking at their pussy, a whole bunch of other shit that men are not going to do. But y'all don't hear me though. But y'all don't hear what the fuck I'm saying. I'm telling y'all, it is time for men, and we've been talking. We men have been talking more and more, and I think that the invention of social media has made it to where that men can have these type of conversations and be real with each other, because there was a time where everybody was macho and I'm just so hard, and I would never think about killing myself, and I go up every nigga in the room. Now it's men, we talking to each other, we having real conversations. I heard Lil Boosie say the other day, us as parents, and this is real shit, us as parents got to be real, because sometimes we raise these kids fucked up. He was like, I raised my son so fucked up, and I'm just trying my best just to talk to him. Do you know how brave and how real you gotta be just to say, like, I know I fucked up with my son? And most men are going to say that, because we understand when it comes to the trajectory and the discipline of our children, it lies on us. Women were never meant to be the disciplinarians. How the fuck you gonna be a disciplinarian to a boy that's 14 years old, 6 feet tall, and you a woman fucking 5'3"? What kind of fear you gonna put in a young boy if you 5'3", 5'4", 5'6", and your son 6 feet tall at 14? Like I said, we gotta be real about a lot of shit that's going on, and we're not. People don't honestly care about mental health. People don't give a fuck about mental health. Period. Your mental health, my mental health, the people and the folks that control what the fuck going on in America, having us work all these hours, taking us away from our family, making divorce so easy. Do you know how many men kill themselves because of divorce? Do you know how many men are school shooters because they don't get vagina? Like, all of this shit is so real and so scary at the same time. Incels, involuntary celibates. And studies show what's even crazier, even though we live in a hyper sexualized society, studies show that people aren't even having that much sex like people think we're having now. Because very a small percentage of men is having sex with a large percentage of women. That's why in Tennessee, shout out to my boy Chris Wynn for telling me this, you have 3 men who fathered 81 children with 46 different women. I'm going to say this again. You have a small percentage of men who fuck a large percentage of women, and in Tennessee, I'm going to look it up. Let's go. Tennessee. Okay, so here we go. I don't want to look at that article. Y'all bear with me. So this is the dailymail.com. Let's see what they say. gonna show y'all. We're gonna read this. All right. And like I said, I'm gonna say this again. You have a small percentage of men having sex with a large percentage of women. It's not a lot of people having sex now. In Tennessee, you have 3 men who fathered 78 children with 46 different women, and they're not paying child support to any of them. And this was in 2012 because I think these men have more children now. 3 men in Tennessee have notched up a staggering 78 children by 46 different women between them and are doing their best to squirm out of paying for a single one. Terry Tunnage has 23 children with 17 different women, while Richard M. Colbert has 25 children with 18 women, but Desmond Hatchett takes the record with 30 children with 11 women. The thing is, if you notice, the children outnumber the women. What does that mean? These women are having multiple children by these men. Multiple by these men. On rare occasions, they pay a few dollars to the long-suffering mothers, but mostly leave the state to pick up the slack, while one to lose his responsibilities altogether thanks to a stint in prison. So these women are getting pregnant by niggas that are going to prison. The latest deadbeat to emerge from the state is Tunnage, who was summoned before the judge over child support payments for his 23 kids by 17 different women, but didn't show up to court. One of the mothers, who had spent nearly 8 years with Tunnage, said her knees buckled when a prosecutor told her that the father of her child had 20 other children. During the relationship, I only knew of 4 children, Latoya Shields told WREG. At the time, 3 years ago, my child was the 21st child. Yeah, that would be overwhelming for anybody. Last month, Tunnage filed a petition at Shelby County Juvenile Court to lower his child support payments for the mothers of his children, but never turned up to the hearing. Shields said the viral dad has shown little interest in her daughter. She calls him, it's a high and by. See you later. Try type of situation, she said. She added that he hardly ever pays child support, but when he has, the checks have been between $6 and $9, and he is likely splitting his earnings between all 17 women. Um, the merger sums come despite the court ordering Tunnage to pay Shields $259 a month for their child, but she says she does not expect to see the sort of money. The most prolific dad is the 33-year-old Desmond Hatchett of Knoxville, who has 30 children by 11 different women. Last month, he asked for the court to give him a break from paying for them. It is a little surprise that the viral dad is unable to pay up. He has been in and out of prison for the last 3 years, during which time he has reportedly fathered another 9 children. Wow, what the fuck? He was sentenced to 6 years in prison for aggravated assault, but most of the terms were suspended for enhanced probation, which was promptly violated by getting arrested for domestic violence. Hatchett now remains behind bars in the Morgan County Correctional Complex and has lost 2 parole bids, according to the Smoking Gun. When Hatchett was earning a minimum salary, legally legally half of his paycheck was seized by the state every month to pay for his scores of offspring who are all under 14 years old. Depending on the ages and the needs of the children, he should be paying anywhere between $25 and $309 to his children. This shit is sad. Sad as fuck. 3 men. And this article says 78 children. But if you read it, it said one man's fathered 9 more children. 9. And this is not a blame game. This is not who's at fault. Because if you look at this, it's like, damn, this shit is crazy as fuck. This shit crazy as fuck. But like I said, when it comes to talking about suicide, I'm going to say this. I don't personally think suicide is selfish when you're dealing with somebody who is dealing with issues when it comes to killing themselves. Like I said, I don't think suicide is selfish when you got issues of people thinking about killing themselves. That is kind of simple and plain to just write it off as someone who's thinking about killing themselves. It's just selfish because you want a person who is tormented day in and day out to live for you, for their kids. And I'm a big proponent of taking care of your responsibilities as a man, especially your children, because I know the odds they're up against without having a father. But who am I to say that you should live for even your creation that you made, and then you run into the risk of also causing harm when you're not the best of health for the people that you quote unquote love. Like I said, people always try to use cheating. You wouldn't do this if you loved me. But what does love have to do with me cheating when I have a natural urge and I'm sexually attracted to fucking someone else? The same way is, what does me loving you has to do with me staying alive when I am struggling mentally? I'm going to say that again. I'm going to say that one more time. People say this same thing. If you love me, you would not cheat on me. But what does cheating have to do with my natural urge to fuck somebody that I'm sexually attracted to? The same way, what does love have to do with me having a urge that I'm tormented and I'm drowning every day to stay alive? What does love have to do with me staying alive? Why won't I just end it? It's the New Normal Podcast. Y'all make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe. Y'all make sure y'all love the video. Don't like it, love the video. If you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, make sure y'all share the video and y'all like the video and y'all pass it around. If y'all want to talk about anything, content y'all want me to discuss, y'all make sure y'all put it in the comment section. It's the Normal Podcast, and we